On a warm summer night in Texas, a young woman stepped out of a friend's house to take a phone call. She was never seen again. What happened in those few minutes has become one of the most puzzling disappearances in the state's history. Before we dive in, drop a comment and let us know where you're watching from. We'd love to hear from you. If you enjoy true crime stories like this, be sure to like the video, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and share it with someone who'd love it too. Welcome to Cold Case Chronicle, where we examine cases that continue to raise questions years after they first made headlines. Today, we're looking at the disappearance of Brandi Wells, a case that has left investigators, family members, and the public searching for answers for more than a decade. Brandi Celeste Wells was 23 years old in August of 2006. She lived in Longview, Texas, a city of about 70,000 people in the northeastern part of the state. Those who knew Brandi described her as outgoing, friendly, and full of life. She worked at a local business and had a close relationship with her family, particularly her mother. Brandi had recently ended a relationship and was spending time with friends during that period of her life. She enjoyed socializing and was known for her bright personality. Friends remember her as someone who could light up a room with her smile and energy. She was the kind of person people felt comfortable around, someone who made others feel welcome and valued. Nothing about her behavior in the days before she disappeared suggested she was planning to leave or that she was in immediate danger. She went about her daily routine, showed up for work, and stayed connected with the people who mattered to her. By all accounts, Brandi was living a normal life with typical concerns and activities for someone her age. On August 14, 2006, Brandi went to visit a male friend at his home in Longview. She arrived in the early evening, and the two spent time together in what appeared to be a casual visit. According to the friend, Brandi received a phone call around 10:30 that night. She stepped outside the house to take the call, telling him she would be right back. She left her purse inside. Her car keys were still in the house. She walked out wearing the clothes she had on, taking only her phone. The friend said he waited for her to return, but she never did. When he went outside to look for her shortly afterward, she was gone. Her car remained parked where she had left it. Neighbors did not report hearing anything unusual that evening. The yard and street appeared undisturbed. Brandi had simply disappeared. The friend contacted authorities the following day when he still had not heard from her. This delay in reporting raised questions early on, but he maintained that he initially thought she might have gotten a ride from whoever called her and would return soon. He explained that he didn't immediately assume something terrible had happened, especially since she had taken her phone with her. Longview Police Department began investigating Brandi's disappearance immediately. They interviewed the friend extensively and searched his property. He cooperated with investigators and allowed them full access. Police found nothing that directly implicated him in her disappearance, though he remained a person of interest due to being the last known person to see her. Detectives conducted multiple interviews with him over the following weeks and months. They reviewed his statements for inconsistencies and looked for any indication that he might know more than he was sharing. Despite this scrutiny, his account remained consistent throughout the investigation. Investigators tried to determine who had called Brandi that night. Phone records became a critical part of the investigation. Unfortunately, the details surrounding that final phone call have never been fully disclosed to the public, and it remains unclear whether authorities were able to identify the caller or determine the nature of the conversation. This gap in public knowledge has fueled speculation for years. Search teams combed through wooded areas around Longview. Volunteers joined law enforcement in checking parks, abandoned buildings, and rural roads. Despite extensive ground searches, physical evidence remained elusive. Brandi's phone has never been recovered. Her body has never been found. Cadaver dogs were brought in to search various locations. Ponds and bodies of water in the area were examined. Abandoned structures were thoroughly inspected. The searches expanded beyond the immediate area where she was last seen, covering a wide radius around Longview. Take a moment to share your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think could explain such a sudden disappearance? And make sure to watch until the end, because there are details about this case that make it even more complicated. Brandi's mother became a tireless advocate for her daughter. She spoke to media outlets, organized searches, and kept pressure on law enforcement to continue investigating. The family distributed flyers throughout East Texas and reached out to anyone who might have information. Her mother described the pain of not knowing what happened. She stated in interviews that Brandi would never have walked away from her life without telling anyone. The family believed strongly that something happened to her that night against her will. The family organized awareness events and fundraisers to keep the case active. They worked with local media to ensure that Brandi's face remained recognizable to the community. They made appeals through television, radio, and print media, asking anyone with information to come forward. Over the years, the family has held vigils and kept Brandi's case in the public eye. They have refused to let her disappearance fade into the background, even as years passed without significant developments. Each August, they mark the anniversary of her disappearance with renewed calls for information. The emotional toll on the family has been immeasurable. Her mother has spoken openly about the difficulty of living in limbo, not knowing whether to grieve or to hope. Other family members have echoed these sentiments, describing how the uncertainty affects every aspect of their lives. Several theories have emerged about what happened to Brandi Wells. One possibility is that she willingly left with whoever called her that night, only to meet with harm afterward. Another theory suggests she may have encountered someone outside the house who forced her to leave. Some have speculated about whether she could have been the victim of human trafficking, though there is nothing confirmed to support this idea. The friend's account has been scrutinized repeatedly. Some question why he waited to report her missing. Others point out that his story has remained consistent over the years, and that police have not charged him with any crime related to her disappearance. The fact that he has maintained the same version of events throughout numerous interviews has led some to believe he is telling the truth, while others remain suspicious. There has also been discussion about whether Brandi might have left voluntarily to start a new life. Those who knew her reject this idea entirely. Her personal belongings, including her purse and vehicle, being left behind makes this scenario unlikely. Additionally, there has been activity absent from her bank accounts or social media since she vanished. Some have wondered whether the phone call itself was a setup designed to lure Brandi outside. If this were the case, it would suggest premeditation and someone with knowledge of where she was that evening. However, without knowing the content or origin of that call, this remains pure speculation. Law enforcement has not publicly named any suspects. They have stated that they continue to follow leads as they come in, but the case remains unsolved. Detectives have indicated that they have investigated multiple persons of interest over the years, but insufficient evidence has prevented any arrests. As years turned into more than a decade, the investigation slowed. Tips became less frequent. Media coverage decreased. However, Brandi's case has occasionally resurfaced in true crime communities online, with amateur investigators discussing possible scenarios and reviewing available information. In 2011, approximately 5 years after Brandi disappeared, her case was featured on several true crime programs. This brought renewed attention and generated additional tips, though none led to a breakthrough. Television producers highlighted the mysterious circumstances of her disappearance, bringing her story to a national audience. Longview police have maintained that the case is still active and that they review it periodically. They have encouraged anyone with information to come forward, emphasizing that even small details could be significant. The department has assigned investigators to review the case file whenever new techniques or technologies become available. The advent of social media has given the case new life in recent years. True crime enthusiasts have created pages dedicated to Brandi's disappearance, sharing information and theories. While some of this attention has been helpful, it has also led to the spread of unverified claims and speculation that can complicate genuine investigative efforts. Brandi's disappearance affected the Longview community deeply. Parents became more cautious about their children's safety. The case served as a reminder of how quickly someone can vanish, even in familiar surroundings. Local businesses displayed Brandi's missing person poster for years. Residents remained vigilant, reporting anything that seemed unusual or potentially related to the case. The community's response demonstrated a collective desire to find answers and bring Brandi home. Friends who knew Brandi have spoken about the lasting impact of losing her in such a mysterious way. The lack of closure has made it difficult for many to move forward. Unlike cases where there is a known outcome, even a tragic one, the uncertainty surrounding Brandi's fate has left wounds that cannot fully heal. Some of her friends have struggled with survivor's guilt, wondering if there was something they could have done differently. Others have channeled their grief into advocacy, working to raise awareness about missing persons cases and supporting other families going through similar ordeals. As of now, Brandi Wells has been missing for over 18 years. She would be in her early 40s if she is still alive. Her family continues to hold out hope for answers, though they acknowledge that the passage of time makes resolution less likely. Advances in technology and investigative techniques offer some hope. Cold cases have been solved decades after they occurred thanks to new forensic methods, DNA analysis, and digital investigation tools. Whether these advances will eventually shed light on what happened to Brandi remains to be seen. The question of who called Brandi that night and what was said during that conversation continues to haunt this case. Without that crucial piece of information, or without physical evidence, solving her disappearance becomes incredibly difficult. Investigators have stated that they remain open to any and all information. They have emphasized that it is never too late for someone to come forward, even if they think their information might seem insignificant. Sometimes a small detail, when combined with other facts, can provide the breakthrough needed to solve a case. The lack of physical evidence has been one of the biggest challenges. Without a crime scene, without Brandi's phone, and without witnesses, detectives have had limited material to work with. This is why the phone records from that night remain such a critical piece of the puzzle. The disappearance of Brandi Wells represents one of those cases where every logical explanation seems to fall short. A young woman steps outside for a phone call and is never seen again. The lack of witnesses, clear motive, or physical discovery has left investigators with few leads. Just a family left wondering and a community that has never forgotten. What makes this case particularly difficult is the absence of definitive answers. Investigators have worked with limited information, and despite their efforts, Brandi's fate remains unknown. Her story is a painful reminder of how some questions may never be answered, and how some families must live with uncertainty that most of us cannot imagine. For Brandi's loved ones, every day brings the same questions. Where is she? What happened that night? Will they ever know the truth? These questions have become part of their daily existence, a constant weight that shapes how they move through the world. Her case also highlights the importance of reporting missing persons quickly and the challenges that face investigators when crucial time is lost. While the delay in reporting Brandi missing was relatively short, even a few hours can make a significant difference in a missing persons investigation. The hope remains that someday, somehow, answers will emerge. Whether through new technology, a witness coming forward, or a chance discovery, the possibility exists that Brandi's family might finally learn what happened to their daughter, sister, and friend. If you want more cases like this, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it to help keep this case visible. Every view, comment, and share helps bring attention to unsolved cases that deserve answers.